all types of good shit.
Greetings, nerds.
I kick back and let the place spin. And if it's too loud, I got the aspirin in the basement. We ain't worthy of your tape deck, let alone the 5-speaker system out thumping in your paycheck. Alley cat, smoke jack by the pack, bringing 95 style rap back, smack the whack. Got to sign at the dealership, 0.9 at the line, slash your fingertip.
Alright, that went up. So I can do that. I can do that. And now I can actually look at the chat main thing on the computer screen and not on the phone, because that's a problem. I can see kind of what the delay is here, and much easier to answer questions here in the chat before motoring in the bank on this fine Sunday evening live stream bit of business. What's going on, O'Reilly? What's going on, DJ Boss Mode? What's going on, Endingo? What's going on, Jenky? What's going on, William? What's crack-a-lackin', Daniel? Doing the damn thing on this fine Sunday. Money in the Banks tonight. This camera... Can I autofocus this? Is that gonna work? Because it actually looks better here on my phone screen. There, that's better. Alright. I'm like, it looks better on the phone screen than it does on the PC monitor. And I'm like, oh, that's not cool. Anyway... who I think's gonna win Money in the Bank, man. I put up a predictions video. People didn't watch it. They should watch it. But McIntyre, all the way. McIntyre all the way. Yeah, I did hear that they're gonna open with the girls and close with the guys. You know, we'll see. They changed things day of the show, like afternoon of the show. Like, they literally had the decision to have Taker lose his streak the day of WrestleMania, hours beforehand. So, you know, Vince... He'll kind of do what Vince does, etc., etc. Good God Almighty! What's going on? I don't think you'll see the men's cash-in happen tonight. Number one, because if they're going to have the show close with that, then obviously you wouldn't. But number two, I think that you'll have that cash-in, or a cash-in, happen at the first SmackDown on Fox in October. Because you want to have that show to be, you know, your balls-to-the-wall show, so why wouldn't you do it there? You know? Kickoff starts in about a half an hour. So, about a half an hour. I wouldn't be surprised to see the ladies cash in. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bayley win the Money in the Bank and then cash in during Charlotte and Becky and make it a triple threat, and then have Bayley walk out with that belt. And then you have your SmackDown feud between Bayley and Charlotte, and then you have Becky on Raw as the Raw champion. That would make some sense. But I think at the very least, end of the night, it's going to be Becky one belt. So that's going to be interesting. Whether or not you see an AJ Styles heel turn. Well, the rumor is that AJ is going to be fighting McIntyre at Extreme Rules, which would say no, he's not turning heel if he's going to fight McIntyre. Because they're sure as hell not turning McIntyre face. That's not going to happen. Not at all. Easiest way to hack a PS1 Classic. Like, why would you buy a PS1 Classic? Those things are not very good. But honestly, I haven't done it, so I do not know. But it's all like a USB stick thing. Like, they're not hard to hack. I just don't, like, see the purpose in buying one. Until, like, you know, like they're $20, then sure, yeah. I'd buy one at 20. But 30 or 40, no. And they were 100. And I'm like, no, it's not good emulation. There's way better PS1 emulation. I have, you know, fucking PS2s back there, PS3s, actual PS1s. Like, I don't need another way to play PS1 games. Like, I had those consoles. And granted, HDMI, that's a thing I like. But I have a PS3 that can play. I have multiple PS3s that can play PS1 games. So, you know, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. The match on the kickoff show is going to be Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan not defending, just in a tag match versus the Usos because of reasons. Like, I'm not sure why that match is happening, A, on the pre-show, and B, is apparently non-title. Like, what? I would assume that the Revival gets involved there with the Usos. I would assume. I don't know. I don't know. But yes, I have an original PS1. Like the big boxy one with the thing on the back for the plug mod. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't see Brock here tonight. Obviously, Brock is heavily rumored to be having a match with Seth at the Super Showdown in Saudi in a couple of weeks here. So that would not surprise me in the least. I don't see Ricochet winning Money in the Bank, only because I feel like whoever wins Money in the Bank this year has to cash in successfully. The past two men's Money in the Bank winners failed their cash-ins. It's been 2 years. So we've had a good men's cash-in successfully. So ideally, whoever wins it has to win the title. And I don't see them putting a title of that magnitude on Ricochet just yet. I just don't see it. It'd be cool, but I just don't see it. As far as the next match with Grimm for the belt, I do not know. I do not know. Favorite wrestler of all time is a hard question because there are a lot of good ones. Would they have Brock beat Seth? No. I mean, they could, but no. Come on. You spent so long with Brock with the belt. You finally got the belt off of Brock and put it on Seth and have Seth carry Raw. Like, you need to have a world title on Raw. I mean, you don't need to, but, you know, it's nice to have. It's nice to have. As far as Andrade cashing in to be champ on that first SmackDown on Fox, that to me says that that to me says that you would have to keep the belt on Kofi. And honestly, I see for that first SmackDown on Fox having the belt on Roman, because Roman. And I know, wild card and all that, but that's just trying to think how Vince would think that on that Raw, or by that Raw, you have the belt on the big dog, and therefore you have to have somebody besides Roman beat Kofi, so perhaps Owens, perhaps Randy Orton, and then that person gets beat by Roman, who then gets cashed in on, I think, by Drew, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What's going on, Cameron? Yeah, I seen the whole thing with Balor getting announced as the demon for the Saudi show. That's come on. Like, we already know in Saudi that he's not gonna have his manager, because you can't have women working those shows because Saudi. So why even stack the deck further with the demon? Like, that to me is the weird part. I'm like, he was already gonna lose, not having his manager. So, you know. Thoughts on the whole thing with Pac and AEW? I'll get into that a lot more in tomorrow's video at 5 p.m. But, man, like, what are they doing? Like, is it a work? Is it not a work? I don't care. But you don't have your match get canceled or canceled the week before your show. If it's going to end up being an issue because of visas, that should have been handled months ago. That whole thing's a mess. It is an absolute fucking mess. And supposedly, they have somebody better. They have a better match in mind. And I'm like, unless you got either Moxley or CM Punk, who else is going to fill that spot that is available to get booked for that show within a week? Like, I don't know. Yes, I agree. The demon should be a surprise. It is better that way. As far as Braun interfering at Money in the Bank, I would say 110% Braun's going to interfere at Money in the Bank. And that's why Sammy is not going to win, because Sammy cost him his spot. And honestly, that might screw over Drew, because Drew helped, and Baron Corbin helped Sammy. So you can say those three might be all out of the running because of the Monster Among Men. And that's, you know, I think he'll definitely take out Sammy and Baron. I still think Drew manages to get that done because they see big things in McIntyre. And of all those guys, I see Drew being the one to actually cash in successfully. And whatever else. I feel like this autofocus is not really autofocusing enough. Autofocus better. Yeah, this front camera is fucking trash. It really is. Yeah, if the thing with Pac is that if it was an issue with Dragon Gate, they should have had that all situated before they actually had the match booked. Like that all should have been worked out beforehand. And it's funny because you start something like AEW to escape the backstage politics, and yet here are the backstage politics. And it's like, fuck, man. Come on. Don't immediately go WCW. You don't ever want to go full WCW. Just saying. The next Pixels is Rage 2 on the Xbox One X. So that'll be more Grim playing a first-person game, and he hates those, but we're doing it anyway because it's, a new game, and you shoot stuff, and that should be fun. After that, potentially Sonic Racing, but that obviously depends on GameFly, and hopefully getting in Rod and Todd for that. Fingers crossed. I do not think Becky escapes tonight with both belts. I just don't see it happening. And again, that depends on where on the card those matches are booked. That depends on what order those matches are booked. But I see her beating Lacey and then losing to Charlotte. I think that makes the most logical sense there. Even with a cash interference, whatever, those things all end up, kind of aligning in a certain way. When you've watched enough wrestling, when you've seen enough wrestling over the years, that's kind of how that ends up going. Favorite video game of all time is Earthbound. In the last 10 years, I would say probably Spelunky. So I am super hyped for Spelunky 2. Actually, right now, I am super fucking hyped for Mario Maker 2. Give it to me now. Seriously. I need that shit. Just hook it to my veins. So good. It looks so good. I played so much goddamn Mario Maker. It's so good. How much does Rage 2 cost? It is a full-price game at $60, either physically or digitally. I, as always, am renting it from GameFly because I don't really buy that many games. I have a lot of games. I don't really buy that many games that often because I'm fucking broke. Because YouTube fucking sucks. What are you gonna do? Favorite wrestling game besides No Mercy? Certainly, Here Comes the Pain is up there. Certainly is. Thoughts on Trips and Randy? Who cares? And Goldberg versus Taker is like, who's going to break their hip first? Like, I don't need to see a bunch of really old dudes in their 50s having these matches. And that match is going to be 90% entrance and 10% match. Like, first of all, Taker is Taker. And you give Taker a young guy, like, say, a Rusev to fight, then you can kind of do something there. A Jericho, you can do something there. But Goldberg is not that great in the first place. Like, his match quality is like, you get that explosive type thing. But at this point, do you see either of them losing? Like, is there going to be interference from, like, Lesnar? Like, I'm not sure how you book that match. Like, it's really weird. But yeah, it's gonna be a mess. If you thought that tag team match in the last show in Saudi was a mess, this is gonna be a mess. Look at the matches from Goldberg that went any longer than a minute. He's not really in ring shape. So it's just kind of, it's rough. As far as the Mario Maker Course Challenge, I am definitely willing to do a lot of Mario Maker content. Whatever's in there, I want to do something with it. So we'll kind of see how that goes, honestly. We shall see. Now, while certainly Balor might lose that belt, he's going to be the Demon. He's not going to lose the belt as the Demon. Unless the Saudis were like, look, we want to see the Demon lose for the first time. Here's 10 million, and then he loses as the Demon. But the Demon is undefeated. Like, you don't have him lose as the Demon. That'd be just... That would be an order of magnitude worse than anything that they've ever done to an NXT talent at this point on the main roster. Seriously. It would be terrible. Favorite match on tonight's show, it hasn't happened yet. So it's like, obviously I'm looking forward to AJ and Seth. I think as a match that has only happened once on the indies, like a decade ago, that's exciting. But then again, I was super hyped for AJ and Nakamura, and that thing just did not deliver multiple times. So I don't want to get my hopes up too high on that. Not too high. As far as playing MK9, probably not. Probably not. We play 10 and 11. That's, it's kind of the same thing, to be honest. Kind of the same thing. Worst WWE game I've ever played. I mean, look, a lot of them are not great. As far as just being outright bad, like the ones before Aki on the N64, like Attitude, which I own a copy of that game, and it's not a good game. Like, I'd say worst overall wrestling game, probably WCW Backstage Assault is fucking garbage. It's horseshit. But is what it is. If the Demon had to lose, who would it be to? Come on, man. Think how Vince McMahon would think. The only way you'd have the Demon lose would be to the big dog. Because make Roman look strong. Make him look strong, folks. Make him look strong. Yeah, definitely. Some of those matches are going to depend on how much time they get, because that's kind of always the case. Which is what kind of like is not great about how we're going to see like any kind of TV match for Kushida on NXT, because Kushida is used to having matches that are like half an hour in New Japan, and he works best in that framework of having a longer match. Having to get that shortened is kind of not as good for him. Not as good. As far as Crash Team Racing, again, we'll see, man. It all depends on GameFly and what they ship me. I add a lot of new games into my GameFly, and it just kind of depends on what's out on what day and what they ship, and that whole thing. That whole thing, if you will. Will Dominic turn heel? I mean, that'd be something different. That'd be as Vince would say, nobody expects it. And they could do that. I think that at this point in his career, Ray should be putting guys over, because it's kind of at the very end of his career. So that would make the most sense, but they might not. They might not. As far as I know, there is no AEW CM Punk situation. They've made him, say, hey, come on and work here, and he's kind of just been like, I don't want to wrestle. So, like, that could change depending on the amount of dollar signs, but we'll see. We'll see. Hamburgers or hot dogs? Hamburgers all damn day. All damn day. Bring back the Burger King loaded grilled steakhouse burger. It was a burger with mashed potatoes on it, and it was amazing, and they got rid of it. Still mad. Still mad. Later, Adam. Take it easy. Favorite console would be either the Super Nintendo or the PS2. Both just fucking dominant-ass consoles that had a lot of amazing games on them. Just good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. I like them a lot. Yeah. Again, if they're gonna have, well, it's always things can change. But if they're gonna have AJ supposedly fighting Drew at Extreme Rules in July, then I don't see him turning heel at this juncture. Like, because, well, I would say, okay, well, when you think about facing heel turns, you got to think, all right, well, who's going to be your top faces and top heels on each brand? But there's kind of no more brand split, because wild card. So it kind of doesn't fucking matter anymore. Because you can have guys on both shows all the goddamn time. Stupid. Stupid. Yes, it is May 19th. It is Kane Day. So, my thoughts on Bray Wyatt is that he's doing some awesome stuff right now, and I'll be curious to see how it translates to an in-ring product, but it's been pretty amazing thus far, and it's kind of the most interesting thing on either show at the moment, so that's been fun. This thing keeps like unfocusing. It's pissing me off. Like it's really just like I don't get it. I don't get it. As far as anyone from the New Day turning, I just don't see it. They've said that if it like unless the whole faction turns, and then sure, fine. But they've said a bunch of times, like on record, if you break us up, we're going to leave. So I just don't see it happening. And I think they've all made so much damn merch money that they could totally do that and be like, you know, peace. Just they will sit at home like Neville did, and then be like, all right, I'm out. Peace. So I just don't see them breaking them up at this point. But hey, look, things can always change. And sometimes there's, you know, enough money to make that happen. But who knows, man? Who knows? Ramblin' Rabbit is hilarious. I love that the buzzard is Waylon Mercy. Know what I mean? Lives are gonna be in Waylon Mercy's hands. That's just peak fucking mid-90s. Like, it's good stuff. Know what I mean? Where is Liv Morgan is a damn good question. You move her to SmackDown. The blue brand. She has a blue tongue. Where is she? Where is she? Missing in action. But yeah, it's like, why break up the Riot Squad and then not use any of them? I don't understand. I could see them putting Sarah Logan with the Viking Raiders. I mean, that makes sense. The Viking experience, if you will. If you will. Yes, Money in the Bank is this evening. It will be pre-show in about 15 minutes here or so. So that's when I stop doing this and get in my car and go over to Crim's house. That's kind of the plan. So that is the deal. Somebody told me that Ruby Riott is injured, but I haven't heard anything definitive on that. I have absolutely no fucking clue what they're doing with Mojo Rawley. It is baffling. Like, if you're gonna hire Gronk, just hire Gronk. Just do that. I don't know what they're gonna do with his weird, like, shattered face blue thing. Like, what? It's like they want to have guys have gimmicks, which is great, but then they kind of like, don't follow up with a compelling storyline thing to have that gimmick do. It's like you spent how many weeks talking into a mirror, and then you come out and you squash Apollo Crews, and then, okay, but where does that lead? What are the issues you have? I don't know, man. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Also, speaking of which, when is Aleister Black going to have more matches on SmackDown? It's just sitting backstage in the dark being like, I'm evil. Like, okay, we get it. But he has good matches, so having him not have matches is just like a waste of his talent. I don't know. How many weeks do we have Goldust and Stardust backstage in their fucking smoky room doing nothing? Just cutting promos. Like, okay, but it doesn't it never builds to anything. It's just like, all right, well, we're just gonna fill time here. I'm like, I'm tired of filling time. Just have a story. And I don't know, man. I don't know. As far as EC3, man, yeah. You brought up EC3, and then you don't let him talk, and then you have him losing on main event. Like, that whole batch of guys and girls that they all brought up for NXT, it's like, well, Lars is doing something now, and obviously so is Lacey, but, like, Heavy Machinery, where they've kind of been backstage doing kind of half nothing, and EC3 is just a jobber now, and like, what? Huh? No, it is a 1 hour kickoff. So from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 is the 1 hour, and then 7 until who fucking knows is the show. Because there are 11 matches on the show, so it's gonna be a long fucking show. It's gonna be a late night. So, you know, dual branded pay-per-views, late night. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna be sleepy. I'm gonna be sleepy. I have not heard, like, look, nobody knows what CM Punk's gonna do besides CM Punk. So don't put any stock in any rumors on CM Punk until he actually shows up in a ring without a mask, like legitimately, and then you think, all right, he's back. But until that happens, like I don't believe the goddamn thing, not a goddamn thing. I mean, it's possible to have another match on the pre-show, but they only ever announced that one for the pre-show, so it should just be Bryan and Rowan, the planet's tag team champions, versus the Usos, non-title for reasons. I don't like, why is that match booked? I don't get it, but yeah, it is what it is, man. What about Bray Wyatt, man? I don't know. When he's gonna have his in ring, I don't know. Does he have the mask on to actually work in ring? I don't know. Like, lots of questions, very little answers. So, Shane versus Miz, like, I just don't like cage matches, so I don't really have any interest in that match. I thought the match I had at Mania was all right. I thought the spot of Mania was Miz's dad with his fist up was fucking hilarious. But, you know, cage matches, eh. So, I honestly think you're going to have some Elias interference in that match somehow, some way. Or the B team interferes somehow, some way. And we have Shane and Miz again, perhaps Hell in a Cell in Saudi. That makes sense to me. If you started at Crown Jewel in Saudi, you end at Super Showdown in Saudi for that entire feud. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. As far as playing Gang Beasts again, I will tell you something that I've learned here on YouTube, having a dying channel on YouTube. Don't ever do anything more than once, because the second time, people care about half as much. And littler. So, do it once, make it awesome, and then move on. Because you do it again, nobody cares. Like, that first video for Mortal Kombat did like 6,000. Second video on Mortal Kombat, barely over a thousand right now, like barely. So it's like you put in all this work and you go, oh, this is awesome, and then nobody cares. So I would not hold your breath on more Gang Beasts, just because it's gonna get way less traffic. Like, look, we did mods for GTA 5, right? And that was a lot of fun, a lot of work to get those, you know, worked up and ready. A lot of fun. That first video did like 40,000. Awesome, amazing. All right, you do it again. You did like 15,000. You're like, wait, what? It's a funnier video. It's, you know, but again, you do it once, you get big reaction. You do it twice, like half, less. And it's like, all right. And it's like you're putting in the same level of work for half or less of the views. And it's like, but I put in all that work. Like, what? So, I don't know, man. This whole fucking thing on YouTube has been rough this year. It's just been real fucking rough. So, I don't have the answers. If I did, it'd be better for me. But I don't have the answers. So, anyway. I don't see Brock getting involved tonight, only because it's not like, Brock works the big shows for the big money. So, obviously, in Saudi, the big money. Money in the Bank, not so much. Like, he'll show up at, you know, Mania, the Rumble, you know, that kind of thing, SummerSlam, but I don't see Brock being there at Money in the Bank. Just my opinion. Later, Jose. No way, Jose. Any tips for a new channel? YouTube in 2019 is one of the roughest years I've seen, having done this since 2013. It's one of the absolute roughest years that I've had anyway. So if you're just starting out now, I mean, any year, the only thing that I can really say is whatever you do, be consistent. Like, don't upload a bunch and then just stop. Like, have a schedule and be consistent in what you're uploading, and then hopefully people will find it. But it's rough, man. It's real rough. But like, I don't know. Don't spend too much time in the beginning worrying about the production quality, because I feel like if you do good work, having the production quality be a bit lower than it should be, that good work will still shine through. Like, if you have great quality, but your actual work is not great, it's not going to be as, I don't know. That's just my opinion. As someone who does videos at 720 that should be in 1080, you know, it's kind of not much of a loss there, but I don't know. What's going on, Jeremiah? Yeah, Money in the Bank is starting, which means I got to get in the car and drive over to Grimm. So I'll see you guys in Grimm's predictions, or no, I'm sorry, reactions video at some time around like midnight. And then tomorrow, 5 p.m. for more WWE All-Stars. So tune in for that. I'll see you then. More videos on this channel just about every day. And I'm out.